والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear believers, we welcome you. This is the 2nd of January 2022. It's our first program. We're going to have a monthly series of programs for the rest of this year at least. The programs will go in segments, which I'll mention in a few minutes. They'll have a certain tone and flavor now, and this would be pre-Ramadan. During this period, we're getting around, so we have for the last 10 years or 15 years had decided to focus on D.C., Baltimore, and Richmond, Virginia. So we're going to take that whole area, and this is a wonderful period because this is a period of revival and rejuvenation after a nice rest. Now, people that haven't had runs before don't necessarily understand how to manage themselves in their life. They run straight ahead and keep running. They want to be a star, they keep doing star. They never take a breather. I noticed in the movement, this has been for over 50 years, that it was maybe a natural gift that I would take a breather and look around at where I'm at. I would do it automatically. The first big one was probably 67. But when we came out in 68, we started the East Oakland Enterprises, and within a year's time, we was buying people Cadillacs and everything else. You know, I mean, Brohams, not them little old T9 chick, whatever they used to call them. And the people said, man, this Negro is crazy. But to give you an idea about understanding your environment is, number one, in those days, up and down Benning Road and everywhere else, everybody talked about things in their community. See, we wasn't on the news and the Washington Post and all that. We had our own network. And everybody talked about the neighborhood. Now, we had Jet, we had Ebony, we had Sepia, we had a few more. They was just beginning Black Network News, and each city had their little black radio station type thing. So we focused on our community mostly. It was a black newspaper or two or three in every region, and that's where we got our information. The other thing was, if Martin Luther King in 1968, the same time we started East Oakland Enterprises in Oakland, 1968, he went to Chicago. The idea was to start a black economic enterprise zone. Does anybody remember that? That was the reason he went there, because he was saying we have to move up from just demonstrating and marching. And they had demonstration down there in 67, and that was called the Poor People's March, something like that, yeah. So it was he was focusing not only voting and demonstrating, but he was focusing on some of the real issues. Now in Oakland, If you would call out there now, it ain't too many Negroes left in Oakland. They done moved outside of town. And if you look at Oakland on the news, you will just almost want to drop dead. I mean, when I left there two years ago, it was pitiful. But when I talk to people in Oakland now, it's pitiful plus. Have anybody seen any of those videos on Oakland and LA? Man, that's the Sunshine State. Everybody moved out there. That was semi-heaven. Man, that was it. Not today. So, East Oakland Enterprises was, we had several businesses. I had several myself. And what East Oakland Enterprises was, everybody in it was young because old people didn't think like that. But it was a little bit we had picked up from the Lamb, a little bit we had picked up from black nationalism and what have you. And it was that black people should control everything that comes and goes out of their community. They should be managers of their own environment. Therefore, we had to advertise that program. Now, in Jahiliyyah, in those days in the dunya, a Cadillac that was over 2 years old was called a legend. I mean, it was old. You know why it was called a legend? Because that people had talked about it so much that it's now a legend. You know, that's what it meant. We call Cadillacs over 2 years old legends. That means that it was so old. I mean, it had been talked about so much. So now, if you want to advertise for East Oakland Enterprises, black people can do for themselves. Black people need to organize. Do you go downtown and do you buy a spot in the Oakland Tribune? Or do you buy several niggas' Cadillacs? What the people gonna do? Every time you turn the corner, you gotta remember how people treated Cadillacs in those days. Man, I just saw so-and-so. First of all, it wasn't that many in the neighborhood because we were still just getting out of the country. So, now imagine the free advertisement you get. You buy somebody one brand new Brougham, like your second in charge, and your third in charge, and a few more. And you helping people buy homes, and you doing the Godfather stuff, except you're not mean. See, one thing about our stuff in Oakland, I was talking to one of my friends that just passed away. He was with us. I said, you know what? We never even beat nobody up in those days. Can you imagine with what we was doing? It was so smooth. You know what I mean? That, it was unbelievable. Plus, everybody was getting rich. Everybody was getting money. Why was everybody getting turned on? It was not free advertisement. If you buy a Brougham for somebody, and it don't cost in those days, it costs $10,000 for a new ham. And you get $200,000 worth of free publicity. Do you know every time they drive down the street, man, I just saw big so-and-so, he turned the corner, he had that tutu with him, and they was leaning, right? That's all they talked about. All day long, right? So it wasn't dumb at all. It was the smartest thing you can do. If you want to push black nationalism, if you want to push independence, right? If you want to push that you can survive, you can make it, right? Then you take that what you got, and all the other big Negroes kept everything they got for them and their little self, and they've all been broke decades ago. Them niggas is broke. Well, it was the pipe killed them, in 75. The base pipe, it knocked them off, slid them off the hill. But it was free advertisement. It wasn't free. If you would have paid for that advertisement on the radio, you'd have paid $1 million for it. We got it. If you buy 5 Cadillacs for somebody, you just $50,000. Not them little old Coupe de Ville, no sirree. I'm telling you. They had to be Wally Slum. They had to be hams with Vogues. Star Wars and Vogues. Ain't nobody gonna be driving down the street in no Michelin tires. Of course, Michelin tires are better than Vogues, but being a dumb Negro, Vogues look the best. And after all, they cost the most. So you know how the Negro is. Anyway, let's skip up to now. Now we're into, we've been through several changes here, and now we easing into another, we used to call it a run when you get your stuff rolling and it's all packed together. A run is like a year, 2 years, it could be 5, that's stretching out to, don't usually last that long, where you're just rolling. You got so much money coming in, it make your blood boil. I mean, you could feel your blood pumping. Now, a lot of people ain't been that rich before. Where you're so young and things are happening so fast that you could feel your blood pumping in your body. That's called being alive. I'm not saying it's bad. It seemed like at that time it was good. Okay, at that time it was very good. All right. So we're taking everything that we learned then, and now, we'll go into the program today. Number 1, write up counter anti-Zionist flyer. That means that's our contribution to future global harmony. That's us right here. So we've had a lot of flyers from the old days and different things. These flyers, these are just trials things, and the program we'll have this month will be a nice semi-trial balloon. Technically, next month, during Black History Month, we'll call this the first program, but that third program we'll have a program once a month, up to Ramadan. By the time Ramadan comes along, I want you to imagine now, by the time Ramadan comes along, we'll have 4 teams going out every Friday. And eventually we'll be going places during the week. Let's call it my team. We might go out 3 times a week. 2 times a week. 1, 2, 3, these programs, if we have, go out Friday. If we have this program on Sunday, okay, then we would have one doing between Tuesday and Friday. We would have some program. So that would be 3 activities that we have on the fundraiser. Fundraisers is very simple. We take our boxes, and for this month, we should have 3 teams. It should be 3 times 3. 3 people in the team, because we're not going to pass out DVDs this go around, this month. We're going to do flyers. We'll make out a nice flyer, introductory flyer, and then that will explain who we are, what we're trying to do, and it'll cover a lot of the information that people will need, right? So I want you to imagine that we're going to go from Richmond, D.C. to up there in Baltimore. That this has been on the clock for 10 or 15 years. We've been probably talking about it. But this is the time to do it. Okay? Therefore, we'll have an introductory flyer. The next introductory flyer, we'll have a standard flyer. We'll have a picture on it. We'll have the introduction, and we'll have explaining who we are and what we're trying to do, and soliciting their aid and their assistance. Okay, if you look around here, basically the flyer will explain what we've been doing over the last several years. It will explain generally where we've been, only in one or two lines, but where we are and where we want to go. That we're accepting that the job that nobody wants. Nobody wants the job of dealing with the Zionist control over America, right? Okay, and that's the job we want. We want the job nobody else wants. Have we had any experience with it? We've had tons of experience. We've just been playing around. See, you have to explain what we are. Have nobody ever done what we have done so far already? Not even close. For the time, how long do people last? A movement, if it lasts 5 years, it's really clocking good, right? Okay, how long did you last before you infiltrated, ran crazy, dead, or what have you? Okay. We're here after 50 years. We're here in D.C. I came here in D.C. in 89 or something like that. That's 32 years here, something like 33 now. That's a long for the movement, and not sitting in the back seat saying, we want a little bit of this or we want a little bit of that. No, that's with everything that they hate. That's what you do. And nobody has ever even thought of putting out a flyer how to punk the FBI, then re-punk the FBI, right? Y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of punks, right? Okay, it don't sound like much. You're going to get plenty of heat. But guess what? You get so sharp that stuff that get everybody else, it don't get you. I'm not bragging, but I just want to tell you so you understand what we've been doing. One of our friends, the police set him up and they threw some bait out and he bit, and that was it. Okay? I want you to just think about Lebanon last month or 2 months ago. What did the Phalange do? They assassinated members of Hezbollah, right? They killed them. Snipers killed Hezbollah. Hezbollah didn't whoop the Zionists. Hezbollah whoop everybody that they get close to. They just whoop them, right? Okay. What did they do? How did they respond to it? They didn't do nothing because they had good leadership. Why? Because the Phalange was trying to trap them into a fight, right? Like I always told all Negroes here and in Oakland, I said, I don't fight niggas. They too easy to beat. I wouldn't fight a nigga if he, no matter what he do. The proof of it is right here. The proof of it is right here. That was done by a Negro and his old dumb wife. I didn't talk to my friends about it in Oakland because they wouldn't have understood. You let some niggas do that? Where are they at? That's what everybody was asking. You know, Big Hank, where's them niggas at? Who is stupid enough to do that? And I told them, y'all heard the tape. I had to tell my sons and others, mind your own business. Stay out of this. Because you don't know what's going on. That's a setup for us setting them up. That's what it is. And they had the old saying, I'll whip you to your head, rope like oatmeal. Look at the top of my head. It's roped, just like oatmeal. Right? My head is roped. If you ever seen a head roped, that's an old saying from back in the day. Nigga, I'll whip your head till it roped like oatmeal. Look at that's what it means. If you never seen a head whoop, right? And I was a pretty old fellow at that time. But why would nobody understands that? Because the average dumb Negro, when nigga get in his crew, Crips or Bloods, East Side, West Side, whatever, when they get big money, the police send another dumb crew to fight them, and they start fighting. Another dumb country, right? Right? In the news. Another dumb country. Your movement is moving ahead, another dumb movement, right? So if you're going somewhere, that's what 50 and 60 years of experience do. It teach you how to, So that's what I'm talking about. We have the experience to do what we do right now. And as far as all this stuff around here, within a year or two, it'll all be remodeled, updated, and Islamic Institute over here, this going on there. It'll all be, why? Because you're alive. And remember, longevity. Remember what Martin Luther King said, longevity has its place, but he knew he was getting ready to go. And we always talk about protracted struggle, long-range struggle, right? Long-range struggle, that's why you have to have a long vision. Because what is they plan for you, right? What is the system's plan for you? Well, they play it out. I'm being arrested in the Masjid in Oakland. You in the bath, police, da, 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 da. And here's Mukhtar right here. This dummy is he's so dumb that it's not his life is in danger. But if you done been in a town, you done bought everybody Cadillacs and houses and everything. Because remember, Black Economic Enterprise Zone for people in their early 20s. Because see, I was 26 when I left the country. So everything, all that, what the Negro thought was big, happened then, before, right? So that means that it was the pre-25, you just doing all that stuff. But see, that was, East Oakland Enterprises was exactly what Martin Luther King was talking about. But nobody had never seen it. They didn't understand it till, they looked up. And they say, all the niggas having money around here is young. And the old gangsters, the ones older than me, they were poor. We felt sorry for them. You know why? Because they was pimping and it was pitiful because all they women was prostitutes and the poor children would come to see us because we had the cocaine. So, man, I've been pimping hoes, slamming Cadillac doors. And here it is, the women come visit us first because he got to be there watching 24 hours a day or having whole watches or he ain't going to get no money because she bringing it, right, to the coke man, right? That's just the way it is. That's the rule. It ain't no, right? So they was pimping. And I used to tell my friends, I said, man, y'all, one thing about it, all those Negroes, when I would be with them and we'd be up at night, I looked at all of them and they didn't know what I was thinking. I was saying in my mind, if they was in a different environment, right, a different time, they would be captains of industry. That's what terminology. Captains of industry. Them niggas was so sharp and so committed. You know what I mean? But they wasn't elastic. They get knocked down once, they bounce back. They get knocked down twice, they bounce back. After a while, like the rubber loses its elasticity, and when you see a Negro at 30 and 40 years old, he's already done. You see what I mean? But actually, we're 76 now, be 77 in a minute. We're just getting started. Why? Because we know if you're going to run a marathon, you take a few days rest after the marathon. You don't get in there and you run for the rest of your life till you collapse, right? You train. What I'm saying is, y'all have been watching this. We have been living through a period of, this period, last 10 years has been R&R, rest and recuperation. It's not rest that you're not doing stuff, but if you notice any property we had, we didn't jump off a building to make sure it's proper. If a car stopped that we just bought and is running real nice, we just pulled it over and left it, right? Simple as that. That's so you keep focused. These same Negroes here, there's a police, you know, these is Latino police and white police. The black police in Oakland, last time I saw one of them, he was I tell you, it was a Geronimo Pratt's a thing for him. He had been killed. He died in Africa at one of my friends' joint. Anyway, so one of the undercover agents I've been knowing a long time, you know, we were speaking on the platform, and he said, he'd come up to me and say, yeah, man, we're proud of you. That means the undercover police. Because they, in their life, this is not the first time they did it. Almost all of them do it. They're saying that to me because they used to seeing Negroes that do Negro stuff. And they don't have no community-based attitude at all, right? So when they see somebody that have, one of the people that used to be real close to us, last time I was there, he said, yeah, man. He said, and actually the whole crowd, you know, that's the attitude. But here's the point. You got to keep focused on what you're doing. Where are you going? What are you trying to do, right? Somebody know what's going on, because remember this whole thing? Revolution from Egypt to the Americas, this is over 10 years old, 11 or 12 years old now, right? They got Imam Jamil up there. They got Imam Lukman right here that they killed in Detroit. And then they got me. So what does that mean? We say it all the time. Nigga, we got this friend of yours, we got him, and if you keep on talking, we're going to get you. We told them same thing. You can see when we go talking to the police, you kiss my behind. Who you talking to, sucker? You don't run nothing. You know, a lot of people think, well, it's not only the police, it's the sheriff, it's the FBI, it's all of them. When the FBI come by here, they didn't come here like, we going to do this or we going to do that. Mr. So-and-so, da-da-da-da-da. And Islamic movement in Turkey. I'm going to just stop showing these pictures, but I just want to show you this stuff. There's poor Imam Lukman right there. This brother they set up. Now, if you come on the main stuff, this is from Tehran. This looks like Arabic, but it's Farsi. And it says, Walayati Faqih is a protection for the global ummah. This is a little hand, this is a magazine. It don't look like it, but this was a magazine, came out in South Africa the last trip. You'd think I was running for president. They had the posters so big. Everywhere I went. They made a whole magazine. This is all the trips everywhere, all the talks, everything. All right. That was the last try of the community there to get me to accept what they was putting down here. I said, I ain't taking that. I don't. You remember the thing in South Africa when Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was saying, this guy here is all right. That's what he was saying about me. They didn't follow that. When he said that, that put a target on my back. So everybody didn't fall in line to help finish up what Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was doing. They jumped in line to try to stop it. I'm not going to show the Rahbar. Okay. Our first program we're going to have after Ramadan will be related to Imam Jamil Alameen. We apologize to him and his family for not doing much. Of course, we'd raised a few $100,000 back then. Everybody know it. Poor son. They don't listen. This is why you got a Playboy bunny on this thing right here. This is a nice guy, but I just happened to show this. So on his license plate, years ago, he had one of them, where they have a message on it. It said, the one that dies with the most toys wins. When I saw that on his little mob car, I said, nigga, you are crazy. You absolutely, something is wrong with you. And they don't think that well. I just want to change the subject for a minute. He was up on the porch with one of his crews. They was all laughing and talking and everything. Then one of his partners from another crew came up and said, hey, man, let me holler at you, man. I want to talk. And he took him off the porch. Then the other niggas sprayed the porch. Everybody on the porch got killed. He was telling me that. I said, that don't give you no message. You ain't got no message out of that. I mean, he couldn't do nothing because they both crews was his friends. But imagine if one crew, I could imagine the conversation, man, don't let him know. But he said, no, that's my homeboy. So he go up there and get him off the porch. Man, I want to talk to you about such and such. And the rest of the crew gets sprayed. And he was telling me that. I said, so you ain't got no message out of it. He looking all around. I said, good God Almighty. Thick-headed. So, I'm not going to call my own children dumb or nothing like that. But ayat signs, I said, you don't remember about ayats and signs? They didn't give you no signal or nothing. That everybody on the porch got sprayed and the guy took a chance, put his own life in danger to come up and get you, his friend, off the porch. And he's just rattling around his brain. He couldn't put it together. I said, boy, look at here. You as lucky as you could be, I tell you. Anyway, let me get back to the story. So, write up counter anti-Zionist flyers. Our contribution to the future global harmony. Our contribution. Why do I say our future contribution? Because ain't nobody doing nothing. Tell the truth. Ain't nobody doing. They're killing Muslims each day, all day, everywhere. Right? But our crew is holding on. They're holding on in Yemen. Right? They're holding on in Lebanon. They're holding on in Iran. Right? All our crew. The U.S., after 20 years, just ran out of Afghanistan. Okay. So we have openly defeated on the battle space of their choice the full force of Zionist Americanism. I'm just telling you so you can either think I'm crazy or you can believe it. But everything everybody has seen here has been an open challenge to the Zionists. And they did everything in their book. running everybody away, stealing whatever they want, they've done it all right here. And, oh, is that right? Right? Have missed, I'm trying to tell you, here's how this goes. In the beginning of this struggle over 50 years ago, we had to think, what is it going to take to get, at that time, freedom and liberation? And in the beginning, you're young, you think money, if you get money for everybody, you get money for yourself, you're free. And at first, it feels like freedom. Then, what most people do is they figure that I got mine, now you got yours. That's not the way it works. If you're individually free, you won't be free individually long, right? Because freedom is not an individual enterprise. Wealth gives you freedom of travel. You, as a Negro, you got enough wealth, you can go anywhere you want. You out of the common prison that everybody else is in. Because you can use your money. But if you don't have nowhere to go, then what's the sense of having the wealth, right? If you work all your life at the post office and you get your nice Cadillac and Vogue tires and you drive up and down the street, you go to the store, liquor store, and you go back home. What's the sense? Right? The people retire. And the government's pretty mean. He didn't count it up. Let me see. At such and such an age, they're going to leave here. So what we do is we tell them, hey, why don't you stay another 5 or 10 years, and when you retire, you're going to get 80, 90%, something like that, big percentage. And they stay. They have all that experience, and 2 years after they quit working, they're dead. The white man is dirty. If you think you're going to get something from the white man, you're technically crazy. He ain't going to give you nothing. I don't care how many people you tell on, how many people you snitch. Boss man is not giving away anything, right? And when you get in trouble, he going to throw up his hands. My hands is tied. I said, your hands is wide open, boss man. Yeah, but there's nothing I can do. It's beyond my ability. All right. So this is still a black economic enterprise zone. We want to see Muslims be free and independent. We don't want to see the Muslims kissing no punks behind like Saudi Arabia and them bums. They send somebody by here every other day. Remember the guy last week, a few weeks ago, measuring from Saudi Arabia, this is the carpet you're going to get, that pretty carpet. So I just drove, every time he walked in the door, I'd start driving on Saudi Arabia. You have to pack up and go out, because he couldn't stand it, because that's his boss, right? The people come here from out there where we go, where we went the other day. Adam, yeah, they come in here, they measure too. You remember the guys coming here? We need carpet, you need this, that, and another. And they think you're going to modify your program. I'm sorry. Let me speed up. So we have openly defeated on the battle space, not battlefield, because now it's not a field, it's a space, it's an arena. On the battle space of their choice, technically it was our choice, because we said, boss man, hey, how about we do a little psychological warfare? So boss man thinking, shoot, I got everything psychological in the world. Yeah, nigga. And so, that's why he's so easy to whoop, because he kind of let us choose a little bit the battle space. And we're not going to kill your black behind till we get ready. Boss man, you going to just let us have a little time and run around and act the fool? Yeah, nigga, we going to scare you to death. Every time you do this, we going to do that. We going to do that. You going to be crazy. And look like he's crazy. Crazy? He leaving Afghanistan, right, with people sitting on the wheels of the plane. And he think he got sense. His whole infrastructure has fallen apart. LA is a crazy house. The Bay Area is worse. Oakland, the last time I was there, you remember them shanty towns in South Africa? Look on the news. Cardboard, tin on top. That's the way Oakland looks. Not part of Oakland. 60% of Oakland looks like that. You got to get all the way up in the hills to get away from that. I mean, in the last 2.5 years, they have said that it's 2.5 times worse than I was there just 2 years ago. Okay. Zionist Americanism. Special traps was evolved to totally trap and destroy openly, publicly, the false invincibility of Zionist Americanism. Everything from the TV shows they put you on to everything. We have never lost no tussle with them. Sean Hannity them scare everybody. We just told him he was a dummy. Well, boy, he's a fool. Right? You don't see us on there no more. You see Sheikh so-and-so because they can treat them like dogs. So anytime we get around, I know you may not believe it, but Negroes got enough sense to whoop the white man on every blow. That's why they had to let the Zionists come and take over. This stuff happened in Oakland was mainly the Zionist manipulation. Why? It's just like what happens when they have a deed to property from Ottoman Empire, from the Ottoman times in Palestine. The court says it ain't no good. They come to our businesses, we got all the deeds and everything. They said they take you to jail. I went to jail 8 times. When I was out there last time, I went 4 extra times. I wanted to go so I could get more stuff on the thing. I just go and get out the next day. Or one time they kept me about 6 days. But one thing, they got to get rid of you because, see, whenever I go to jail, I don't eat. Nothing. I don't eat. So I'm in the jail with all the Negroes. And the time I did 6 days in jail, because it was this, that, and another, there's some little lie they told. They looking at a nigga that don't eat in 6 days. And what do people in jail eat? They can't do. I mean, they can't wait to get their meal, and they got commissary. They got all that. That's all they want. They waiting for the commissary to come, because the only pleasurable thing they can do in jail is eat, right? And we don't eat. And then you get the food, you give it to somebody. After 3 or 4 days, they saying, what is going on here? Not like in them riots when the Negroes have all them canned goods, they lock up full of, all that food. We're going to have a strike. Yeah, because your locker's got 50 cans of tuna in it, right? And you're going to strike. Not the Muslims, not the good Muslims. We'll fast on their behind. Yeah, we'll fast on their behind. Okay. What we have shown is you can whoop this white man. We've already whooped the white man. Now we're going after the Zionist because he's the one to scare everybody. We're going to do that. Okay, let me go over again the program. So every week and during the week, we're going to go out and visit all the centers. Okay? And over a period of time, from the flyers that we give out, people will begin to understand who we are. We got a good name already. People already know when they see, you could see people know, so they know that. Okay. So nobody comes here, but they know what we stand for. That's why they don't come here, because they may be a little scared, but that's no problem. So anyway, we're going to explain to them who we are, what we're doing, and what they can do to help. First stage, we're not asking them to do anything but help financially. All right? Because it's conscious money, basically. You know you should be doing something. You help us and we'll take care of it. That's pre-Ramadan. But after Ramadan, you done fasted and read the Holy Quran all through and through, so you technically know what your duty is. That's why we're having the first program for Imam Jamil, although the program next month, Black History Month, will have a little bit of that in there. Okay, so we'll develop our schedule, so we'll go to the mosque, the centers, and we'll be constantly raising funds. By the time Eid come, everybody will know who we are, they'll know why we're there. You see what I mean? So no matter where they put us, you can't come there. Like the guy said last week, you can't stand right there. I said, oh yeah, that's right, that's their property. And then I was telling him, I said, that's their property. The sidewalk, we do what we want. Freedom of speech, press, and religion, this is it. Okay. Oh yeah, so the speaker was all the property. I said, oh, we had a speaker, right? But then he got nothing to say because we know the law. You see what I mean? The other things is the people will know we're doing the right thing. It's a group of people already that look for us, right? To put, so that's just from, but now this is specific. This is what we might call it an Islamic revival. Number one, property revival. This time next year, we want to have upgraded all our property. Hopefully, we'll build 3 more apartments right across the street. Well, maybe about 2 years, all of that. But we're going to upgrade. All the stuff that's falling apart downstairs, don't worry about it. All the trim that's falling apart, don't worry about it. Right? Because we're doing something we always did before. We go down to the level that we get ready to stop. And then we start coming back. That's why the old saying, setback ain't nothing but a setup for a comeback. That's the Negro downtown said it. But we like it because it sounds like we said it. Anyway, no, this is a new period. I welcome everyone aboard, and I hope you have as much fun. See, I'm already having fun because I see everything we did worked. They sent people here, they thought, oh, they finished, One of the guys traveled all over the country with me, Sudanese brother. They come, send him by the check. Well, maybe they think you're a little older, and so it's all over. I said, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He didn't know. I got it wrote down. I planned to live 100 years, and now people living so long, maybe a little longer than that. You know what I mean? That's what longevity is. See, we're planning way ahead of Boss Man. See, Boss Man got a real big deficit. Number one, all his business and all his plans, you got to finish it up within this quarter so he can get his invested money back. He can't do like Chinese. They're going to have a long-range plan. They're going to build Belt and Road. They're going to build, right? All those are long-range investments. Anything that's good, usually it takes a long-range investments. America is falling apart because no congressman or senator can vote on any long-range program. You have to get the people something that they can bite in and taste right then, right? Or he won't get elected the next go round. You see what I mean? They have trapped, this is the trap. It's a self-trap. They have developed a policy that ensures their downfall. So when we predict America's going to have this trouble, it's built into their system. We don't have to do nothing but predict. And then people say, boy, them niggas got sense. They just predicted boss man going to have this, and boss man, he's done that to himself, right? He's got to have something next quarter, or the people going to throw him out of the board or do something, right? Not the other people. Long-range investments, right? Long-range investments. That's what we've been doing here all the time. Another thing is, save the world, defeat Zionism. The Negro plan, you know, they had a lot of plans. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the Tanaka plan. The Tanaka plan was a Japanese plan to take over the world, and they was going to do it. This was a Japanese foreign minister in 1923. This is the plan. We're going to go to world power. So not enough Japanese, but we're going to ride on the Chinese. We're going to work them to death, right? That's why they invaded Manchuria and called it Manchukuo. Boy, the nips is really serious. They better now, but at that time they was called the white man of Asia. The white man of Asia. You know, if you go back to 1937 and Nanking, and he was a pretty mean fella, you know. I mean, I'm telling you. That was that old time Bushido stuff, you know, when cutting everybody's head off and stuff. And anyway, all right. Save the world, defeat Zionism. Now you say, here's a Negro sitting here talking about save the world. Well, if we don't, ain't nobody else going to do it, because ain't nobody thinking about nothing. We got this, y'all almost got T-shirts on. This is January the 2nd. When I came here on January the 2nd, I tell you what happened. January the 1st, over there on 16th Street, I told y'all I knocked my coffee over on the car. I was getting ready to hit the highway. The coffee froze on the window before it hit the body. You know the front window? Just imagine this. I'm getting ready to go on the highway. Okay, my nice cup of hot coffee. And then I knock it over. And I look at that coffee. Zoop! It froze before when it got midway in that front window. I'm sitting right there. I said, boy, this is serious. D.C. is cold. That must have been a cold winter. Several years ago, you would have, I don't know how many feet of snow around here. Sometimes you couldn't travel. They had buildings. The building would fall in because so much snow was on top, right? 15 years ago, stuff like that. And now, niggas outside, must be 60 degrees or something. I don't know what it is. But I mean, I don't like it. Although I do like it, but I don't like it because that ain't the way it's supposed to be this time of year. In other words, the biological, this clock is going haywire. And they can't do nothing about it. They won't do nothing about it. So we can. In steps the Negro. Now, you say you can't do that. Y'all ever watch Power Rangers and all them stuff? I used to watch them with my daughter. So they running around. Then when stuff get ready to really happen, the Power Ranger morph up to be the same size as the monster. Everybody ever see that stuff? Remember the monster is 100 feet tall and the other guy is about 2 feet tall? But after they call it morphing up, we will be morphed up. We're already morphing up. We're morphing up. You got to think like that. You got to think that God is on your side. He'll help you from ways you never even thought of. Okay, anyway, I'm going to try to speed up. Save the world, defeat Zionism. The Negro plan. Pull a Zionist pants down and whip his behind in public. Let's call it a public ass kicking. That's what it is. Excuse the language. That is Masjid stuff. Post-Ramadan, Salatul Jummah Congress. After Ramadan, we'll have every Friday, we'll have a Jummah down at the White House and we'll have a Jummah at Congress. Plus all the other stuff we do. Yeah, because we won't do it before. We can't do everything, so we'll just wait till after Ramadan. So there's a lot of things we do pre-Ramadan. Pre-Ramadan is setting up everything for post-Ramadan. Okay. Liberate North America from Zionist control. As-Sabiqun Liberation Organization, As-Sabiqun Liberation Movement. Strategic Informational Global. That's what we're going to do with all our property. Yeah. We're going to center right next door. Then we're going to have informational center. Now, all of this is in the first stage. Everything that we're going to do in the next few years will be the first stage of our development. That means that we're putting all of this stuff together for the real challenge. Information age, We're putting the team together for the next few years, self-supporting teams where we will do what we need. Now, remember, you got to think the people have been stabbed in the back by CARE and all of these people, right? And the problem that people have is that they don't trust the Muslims a whole lot. And the Muslims don't trust each other either. And therefore, they've opened up the field for us. Because everybody know they said them niggas is either crazy or something. And they can't say that we stealing no money because we spent $500,000 on the school kids, right? Everybody can count, they can add up, So, all right. That was in a 10-year period of time. They call that a lot of money. But it ain't nothing. And then remember, when this stuff happens at first mathematically and then geometrically. Geometrically is when things explode. Mathematics is when you invest some money, 5 times 5, I get 25 back. That's mathematical. Geometric progress is when things explode. That's like if you sell a little handful of dope and the next year you're selling tons of kilos and you don't even know where to hide your money. And you hide money somewhere and you go off and years later you open, I put that money there. I've been all gone, money. You didn't forget you put it there. I don't know how many other people that found tons of money, but who needs it? You're making so much, right? Then when you get juiced up into Islam, you don't use money the same way. Yeah, technically you don't need it But that's why you can manage it right, because you don't need it. Right? Right. Yeah. This is all, I know y'all know all this, but I'm just, post-Ramadan, Salatul Jummah, Congress, and the White House. So that's what we'll be. 4 teams for D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Mobilize counter, that is, anti-Zionist movement. Focus on the center. To us, it looks like the Tet Offensive. Anybody remember what the Tet Offensive was? Tet Offensive, 1968. Vietnam. Says things fall apart, the center cannot hold. The war got so bad, they say the center cannot hold. In other words, this thing done fell apart. There's no gravitational pulling or glue in that Vietnam War at that time. It's all shattered. And that's what they said. That's what the news said. The center cannot hold. Things fall apart. Right now, they've fallen apart a long time ago. They're not holding, whatever they call American, it don't exist anymore. They went right down and they're going to raid the Congress. Now, if a nigga raided the Congress, he would be dead when he think about it. Yeah, because they probably got a machine. That nigga thinking about it wrong, stuff like that. But anyway, so 4 teams, special historical period. Neutralize Zionist machine. How are we going to neutralize the Zionists? By telling the truth on them in public and making fun of them. And we're black. That's the key to whipping the Zionists. They can call everybody else racist, this, that, and the other, and da-da-da-da-da, and they can't do that to us. Deja vu. It's all happened before. I'll speed up because I know y'all in a hurry. We have here someone wants us to succeed. A lot of people want us to succeed. People just scared. Everywhere we go, there's people that slip around. They hit you a little something right away. They do it all the time. And if they go talk against us, as soon as they finish talking about us, what do the people do? Come right out the door and go put it in our box, right? That's what y'all have told me, that as soon as they inside, you could tell they done talked about it. Last week we was over there at the other place, and the people come out, zoop. I mean, there wasn't nobody coming put nothing in the box, and all of a sudden, everybody's coming in the box, put something in the box. I guess they're trying to do it. Whatever it is they say, whether they mean it or not, it don't matter. It's not a problem for us. We just know that they turning the people on, that those are people. And then there's some report about you got to help black people. Is that some report came out that you got to help the African American Muslims, something or other? Huh? It's floating in the air, and we're going to float right on with it. After all, we come from a Negro background, so helped our black Muslims, African American Muslims, right? And we talking to Sunnah too. Boy, look at here, we can't lose. Everything is headed our way. You know, you watch that movie Star Trek, and when they get ready to move, they say engage. Right? Engage. That's what we're doing right now. Engage. That's what we're saying right now. No, you can laugh all you want. People right here, when you look around in a year's time, you're not going to believe it. In 2 years' time, your head will be spinning. Look what happened in that time. That's what we're saying now. Just wait a couple of years. No matter what happened, it has to be different. Remember, they got to use their system to come out and try to stop us, right? So Black Lives Matter don't mean nothing but Muslim to Muslim, Negro Muslims ain't did nothing to nobody, right? Off we go to the races. In other words, they're set up. They can't do nothing to us. They can't. Their hands is tied. The Zionists' hands is tied. We're going to whip their butt in front of everybody, slap them around, make fun of them. And that, the Zionists, you see how mean the Zionists are? You can see. We're going to slap them upside the head and make fun of them. Oh, Zionists, who are you talking to? That's the way we talk to them anyway. They're not going to be able to, they can't control themselves. They're going to be calling us niggas and everything, right on TV. Are you a black nigga? You and your... So, well, my goodness. What happened to you? I thought you were civilized. We're going to play, see, we coming out the Negro bag on them, and nobody knows what to do with the Negro when he really does the Negro, right? Nobody knows what to do. Plus, we bringing in a generation before their time, and they forgot them. That's one of the reasons we've got this far, because of the generation before. A lot of the game we use now, anyway, we'll speed up. I'm going to try to speed up. Our great victory last 10 years. No diversion, and I said show pictures. We have not been diverted. Remember, that's the key. They said, oh, this would divert anybody. You go get any nigga, this will divert him. Beat a nigga upside the head and see what he do. I don't care if he's a Crip or a Blood, them niggas will fight. And they'll let boss man go. We said, oh, no, Zionists. So you run us out of our masjid, we got the deed and everything, and have a good time, right? See, some of our leaders were not able to laugh at themselves. One of our best friends, this is a problem he had. And they thought we had the same problem. It's not a problem. Self-esteem. The Negroes work for that, self-esteem. And one of our friends wrote a book, Die, Nigga, Die. That nigga that y'all think about need to die. Y'all remember that book? Die, Nigga, Die. Right? So, what they thought about him, it worked. Just like that. Throw some stuff up in there, and it wasn't thought through. You see what I mean? They do the same. They thought we was the same way. If we do this to this nigga, he was big so-and-so out there in Oakland, and everybody trust him and like him, so if we do certain things to him, he's going to get mad and lose his cool. They're a damn fool. People is crazy. They can't keep up with progress. You know what I mean? Tazkiyah bil nafs. Purification of the nafs. And remember, there's a hadith where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, remember Aisha snuck out the house one night going behind the Prophet, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, was going to the graveside of the martyrs. And when she got there, she saw him praying for the martyrs and crying and what have you. She got back home, she asked the Prophet, why did I do that? She said, the devil made you do it. Right? She said, I have a devil? She's thinking, I'm the wife of the Prophet, a devil? Yes. Even thou, Rasulullah? Yes, but I have conquered that devil, and what does he do? Only suggest good. I'm telling you, you can conquer the shaitan. If he don't suggest good, so I ain't taking that shaitan. And if it takes 3 steps for you to step over the side, you take 1 step, say, no, shaitan, I don't like that. You better come up with something better than that. Put him to work, suggesting good. I'm telling you, I know you think I'm lying. Something is suggesting good, 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 all the time, every day. Good, 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 good. Now the old shaitan now will try to trap you. He'll suggest good. I trapped the nigga. I say, get him in the pattern of listening, right? You got to get you in the pattern of listening, right? So I'm going to suggest good, 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 good. And then the shaitan can't help being himself, you know. He can't help it, so he got to slip right in. You just be there waiting. He only suggests good. The Imam Tufail Strategic Command Center, that's right there next door. Don't worry, just visualize everything around here all fixed up in brand new looking and new houses on our property. That's the first stage of our development. That's not where we're headed. In other words, all the remodeling of the masjid, all of this, all of that, that's not the final stage. That's the first stage of what we're doing. Just visualize this. We have to develop the movement to challenge the Zionists in America. And don't forget now, America is going to be on our side. The American people. Because the Zionists have already stuck their foot in it. Only thing is, nobody's pointing it out, right? Wait till we point out, well, what are you talking about? You the only one over there have atomic weapons, so what are you talking about Iran getting some, right? Didn't you steal all the property from the people? Isn't it against all the UN, on and on and on? Isn't everything you're doing is against the global law? And you can do it because you're a Zionist? We're going to have a good time with them. We're going to run them all around America. I bet you won't see us on no TV show or nothing else that's run by the Zionists. Because we're going to whoop their behind. A lot of them just laid it out for us to whoop their behind. Okay, Black History Month. Change what the world thinks about black people. This is our shot to affect the world. To not be thought of as an entertainer, a damn fool, or something like that, right? What does the world... People around the world like black people. They do, I'm telling you. But what do they think about, right? They think about a party animal, right? I was in Colombia, and, because I went to the gym all the time. And you could imagine what I'm doing in Colombia. Hey, why don't you sing us a song? They don't mean no harm. This is back in the 70s, of course. Early 70s, 72. Sang you a song, sucker. You think I'm here to sing songs? They couldn't picture me being anything other than when we leave, I shake hands, see y'all later. Hold it. They didn't do that on Shaft. They wanted me to give them all that stuff they did. I said, hell, I don't know that. Oh, that's a code them niggas be doing. All that stuff, they, right? I said, I can't remember all that stuff. That's not the way they did it in Shaft. They saw the movie Shaft, 71 and 72 down there. And they thought I was supposed to act like that. Because this is what now we have a chance. Where we're headed now, we're going to improve the picture. They never saw black people as thinkers, organizers, or developers. Great emotional personalities and what have you. Martin Luther King, everybody likes him, right? But they get quiet last year when he's at the Riverside Baptist Church, stuff like that, they get quiet on that. Or when he's talking about South Africa and all of that, So they try to paint a picture They have painted a picture. They have painted a real picture. People like black people, but the picture is not real. He's not a thinker. He's not an organizer. He don't know how to rescue himself from the abyss. They erase the picture. We're going to put it back. No, we're going to hook that up. That's our job, right? Okay. Black History Month, da-da-da-da. Every night during Ramadan, regional goods, da-da-da-da. So every night during Ramadan, we're going to eat as early as we can, pray as early as we can, and then head out to a center, every night during Ramadan. By the time the Eid roll around, if we can send out 7 or 8 teams, that's what we're going to need. You see, because between now and then, if that's our goal, to shape, form, and fashion a picture of us, right, between now and then, that we'll do the job you need done. I know you're not up to it, so we'll take care of that because we like you, and we're gonna do we're gonna be the Ansar here. Like, we're gonna help you. That's our job. Okay, so then after that, then we need more than now you just giving donations and cheering along. We need you to participate in your own rescue mission to rescue yourself and your community. But people by that time will have a different impression of us. They will have heard from us what we say, not from what all the Negroes been saying around. I can't imagine what they've been saying, but it probably haven't been that nice. Have y'all heard any different things? Do they still have them same old rumors? Well, now they're going to see us in person on a regular basis. All right. I'll move toward a close. Post-traumatic growth. Have anybody ever heard of post-traumatic growth? Not Islam. Not post-traumatic syndrome stuff. Post-traumatic growth. The idea is that if you go through certain things that are traumatic, they can cause you to improve and grow and develop and gain more control of yourself and your life. What happens is that people have the wrong focus, and that's where post-traumatic stress disorder and all that come from. But think about it. When you go through things that are stressful, they can make you better. They can make you good. In fact, that's what builds you. When you go through a challenge, right? That challenge makes you, I don't care whether it's business, economics, whether it's a social challenge, whatever. If you go through it the right way, you come out a better person on the other end. That's our focus, not post-traumatic stress disorder, but post-traumatic growth. The things that we have went through, dealing with this system called America and Zionism, makes us better. And that's what we'll be teaching. That stress and challenge is not bad when you use it. Everybody that really amount to something in life, they go through challenges. They go through, if you want to invest a lot of money, the more you risk, the more you're going to make, usually. You may not make nothing. But if you make something, you're going to hit pay dirt, as they say, because you took a chance. Other people look at what we're talking about now as we're taking a chance. I don't look at it like that. It's a done deal. To me, the Quran, even the Bible, history, everybody is on our side. With the United States, everybody, and it's living, it's doing it. It's doing that. That's a done deal. It don't take no scholar to figure that out. Everybody knows that the United States is finished as a global power. They already know that. Right? So, alhamdulillah. Okay, that's not hard. I'm almost finished. Post-traumatic growth, finding meaning in creative adversity, finding meaning. See, okay. Appreciation of life, new possibilities, personal strength, and the number one thing is spiritual change. And I'll just say this. We'll mention it next month, but after Ramadan, the first program we're going to have post-Ramadan is on Imam Jamil Alameen. And we're getting back on that program. And this time, nobody's going to play. The last time, we just gave whatever we collected to the people that was designated to get it, and they cut his throat. Okay. But the greatest compliment I ever had was when I was at the county jail down there, and he said, "I want to thank you for everything you did." I said, "No, we just thank Allah." He said, "I've thanked Allah. Now I'm thanking you." He said, "You didn't come down here and ask me what should we do." I said, "I've been in jail 100,000 times, so I don't have to ask nobody if you look at the case. What's the case, right? What does he need within and you do that. That's all you did. I would just tell him, I didn't have to ask nobody. I can see what's happened. And I told him later, I could see the niggas around you. It ain't worth a dime. None of them. Anyway, so that's what we'll be doing. After Ramadan, we'll hold our first Ramadan program will be Imam Jamil, and we'll try to put together a team that he has some time left, so we try to get him out so he can be out here and do what Allah done hooked him up to do. So, be happy. Make your own identity. Selective destiny. Selective destiny, you select your own destiny, not the white man or the system or your job. Select your own destiny. A volunteer spokesperson inside the USA, pro-Islamic forces, anti-Zionist, okay, Zionist American battle space. Well, we call it a free gift. And I'll close with this. Everybody that's going to do something serious should have certain goals in mind. But along with those goals, where you're going to go and how you're going to get there, what time, it's all those things. But an attitude, the attitude that you have will go a long way with how far you go, And attitude means a position. You have taken a position. Definiteness of purpose, expectation. And I'll close with expectation. They had a study in Oakland years ago, 1968. And it was about the Oakland School District. And it was about expectations. They gave group of students to teachers, and they told the teachers these are the best students with more potential for progress in the Oakland Unified School District. And they told the teachers, and by the way, we chose y'all as the teachers because you are the best teachers in the Oakland Unified School District, right? And they had them work together for 1 year, and the average student progressed 3 years in 1 year. And when they told the teachers, well, you guys have done such a great job. The average student that you've been teaching have progressed 3 years in 1 year. And the teacher said, well, you gave us the best students in the Oakland Unified District, so it was just, said, no, they wasn't the best. We just chose their name out of the hat. And then they said, well, it was us. We were the best teachers. They said, no, we chose y'all name out of a hat too. So they was, well, what was it? You expected something from the students and something from yourself. You expected that they're teachable because they're 3 years ahead of everybody else already. These are the best students, or they have the potential, right? So you expected something out of them. And when you ran against your normal troubles, you expected yourself. I'm one of the best teachers in this district. So I can figure out how to teach that dummy. He wouldn't even call a poor kid a dummy. They would call him a challenged student. This one is challenged. But I have the skill, right? And they average 3 years in 1 year. His expectation. You know, the hadith say about Allah, I am to Allah. I mean, I am what the believer expects of me. It's a hadith Qudsi. That means it's a holy hadith. That means if you expect a little bit here and there and a little bit there, Allah's hand is closed up, so you're right. But if you expect unlimitedness from Allah, Allah will do that. And I'll close with this. Dear believers, this is our shot. Why not give it a try? What the heck? You can't lose anything. You're going to die anyway. Either die in your bed or you have an accident. One thing pretty sure, you'll be leaving here. Either it'll be on the 1st of April or the 5th of June, but you're not going to be here forever. Right? So why not give it a shot? They make fun of the Negro. He's a buffoon. He's a clown. Why don't we just clean that up? Us. The maturity, the discipline, all that stuff we can do for somebody else. We can become a Navy SEAL and some kind of other crackpot, right? And we can turn out things you never expected for boss man. Can't do it for ourselves. What's going on, right? We don't do that for ourselves. All it takes is the same thing: focus, discipline, confidence in ourselves. So we want to thank y'all very much for putting up with this boring little talk today, but we're on a roll. When you come back here next month, we won't be in the same spot. When you come back next year, watch and see. If you think you're lying, come back next year and see what things look like different around here. Any questions, any comments? No questions, no comments. Okay. Alhamdulillah. See y'all later then. No, yeah. Any clarification is needed? Anything that wasn't explained or with a little more thoroughness?
Is there any other contribution? I know we need
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Participation. Right. 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 Well, if you notice that at all of our meetings, we always ask for participation and contribution. The only thing about this time, it will be not demanded, but see, because they know one person do no whole thing. It don't work like that. So remember, all of us go places, all of us acquire. We have a wealth of knowledge, and just imagine when we use collectively what we have just here right now, just us right here. Could nobody do nothing to us if we use what we have right here right now? Organization of this many people right now that's all focused on one or two goals headed in the same direction, looking out for each other, backing each other up, supporting each other. Hey, man, uh, it's unbelievable because usually there's a few places where the people automatically kick in. And that automatic kicking in comes from, I'll put it this way, because I've heard this guy, Morandi, mention it the other day, and I've been saying it for decades. When people from here would go to Iran, they would, the press, all of that, the taxi driver pick them up, and they didn't know Iranian customs. So Iranians complain all the time about everything. But during the war, they sent their best pistachios. You saw the ceremonies. They handled everything, right? But when you watch the news here, remember the news in 2009, they were swearing that the Islamic Republic is finished. Why? Because they was listening to the people. The people was telling them, I'll tell you what relate to. Did you ever see the lecture that the Rahbar gave in 2009 when everybody was just, it was on June, I think it was June 19th or something like that. The people was all wearing white like they ready for martyrdom. Man, you couldn't, they was sitting there, they was on the edge of they was ready to go. But see, the people here, they send snitches over there, or they send press, and the Iranians tell them, the Iranians are complainers. They do it to each other, they do it to everybody. So all the cab drivers was telling all the press, this place is messed up, da 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 da. But when something happened, they all there solid. They're just complainers. They ain't serious. They sending their best stuff to the war front, right? They locked in, but they complain. They didn't know that was a national custom in Iran. Complaining. They're gonna complain, and if they was here listening to the brothers complain here. But when something come up, they all in on it. You see what I mean? So that goes our way when people misunderstand who we are, right? And they misunderstand our makeup. The average black person can take more abuse than a white kid, more everything, right? He can just take it. It don't even think about it, right? Okay, that's part of our makeup. The only thing that we haven't been doing is channeling. Every time somebody comes to channel our resources, we make gigantic steps. Then they come around and kill that guy and divert everybody. You remember that Boondocks thing that where Martin Luther King supposed to die or was come back to life in Canada somewhere, and he was in a coma, and he came back and saw what Negroes was doing. They were shaking their behind and all that, right? And it just run him crazy. Imagine if Malcolm was here now, what he would do. What would even Booker T. Washington them would be going around in circles, right? If they saw what the Negro came out of in slavery and this is what he is now, or allowed himself to be now. Our leaders allowed themselves to be led to lead us into this. We blame it on them people. Okay, now we got a chance to fix that. We do, I'm talking about right here. We're going to make a shot at it. Everything we ever tried, it came out. Everything, I'm just talking about personally. Everything we ever tried, it came out. So I expect that the stuff we talked about here is going to be all right. I expect the United States government will be shambles within the next sooner or later. I expect it. It's already a shambles, right? And remember, we talked about this stuff years ago before it started happening. We said Trump is going to bring this boy down. And he did. He did the no-nos. You can't. The election is not real. That's what they say about third world countries, right? Hey, he's tearing up the country. We just got to keep the country together. They're tearing it up so it'll be a useful tool for the Zionists, right? The Zionist is happy because it's a big, weak dummy. The Zionist is doing it, right? They just they don't need a strong America that have vision. They need a big, weak, stupid America. The Zionists control the movies. The Zionists control everything that these dummies is watching, right? That's why they stupid. Excuse the expression. That's why Americans is crazy. Crazy, unhappy, suicidal, alcoholics. I mean, the kids in school. Does anybody go to university around here? Kids? The people is drunks. Binge drinking. White kids binge drinking. Negroes drink, but he said, I got a class sooner or later. Boop, and then he stopped. White kids don't do that. They stick their finger in their mouth, throw up, and go right back to drinking. Let's put some more down there, right? Can you imagine? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with America? Okay, so I'll close with this. We have to save America and happen to save the people that's running around in it. I mean, I guess since you got to fix the Negro up, if the white folks want to come along, there ain't nothing we can do about it. But the white folks that's alive now is not the same as one generation back. The police is. 2 generations back. You know, you could see the attitude is a little bit different. So it's our job. And if they don't like mixed race people, they better get out of America, because all the kids half the kids, what is the numbers is like, most of the kids now is mixed, poor things, is mixed race kids. So you can't, after a while, it just ain't, it's a new thing. Anyway, no, it's just finished. There ain't nothing you can do, because all the kids can't hate each other. Well, they can, but they don't, because everybody is you don't see it here as much, but when you go to California, soon as I come over the mountains and I be going, there's a prison out that way. Soon as you hit California, and at that, there's McDonald's and all that gas station and all that stuff there, all the people are going to visit the prisons. And you see Hawaiians, you see California right there. It looks totally different than the rest of the country is starting to look that. So goes California, what do they say? So goes America. White people are not the majority in California anymore. California is looking so bad, it's distressful, and there's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it. And the cost of living, houses cost more in California, and they've fallen down, than they do here. They're not, the American dream, the middle class that's stabilized, all that stuff is gone. That stuff is gone. Okay, I'll put it this way before closing. The other people don't know where to go. We know where to go because of Islam. That don't mean we want to make everybody Muslims, but we got enough sense to rescue them from self-destruction, headed in the right way, right? And that's the whole thing about compassion, kindness, the Quranic values. Yeah, that's what we want to implement with Allah's help. That's what we've done so far, and it ain't hurt nobody. It ain't hurt nobody here. Anybody more questions? Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, I think one of the symbols of we look where we are, where we're going. I think we might have to isolate New York or California, either one, sometime both. There's a new mayor elect out in New York, Adams, and before he got in, he showed really strong signs of leadership. But I think in many of these cities, I have a thing on a radio show called the 100 Black Mayors. And it's a lady in Atlanta that connects them, and they're going to some things for Africa and connect those men. They're buy-selling trade with Africa. There's a lot of things that are going on that are closely related to what you're talking about. I really thank you for holding the conference, and please excuse my tardiness, but certainly the agenda. But all praise is due to Allah. Really, man, we hold on to what we are, and we hold that with you.
Inshallah. No, alhamdulillah. No, see, it ain't nothing but hope going around. There's hope popping out of the woodwork. No, so that's what we're going to do. We're not going to let that bum, a crackpot, run our lives. He going to only place he can go is where he goes. He goes to the crazy house. And he going to drive you right to the crazy house, right? To the insane asylum, to sickness, ill health, not only fornication, adultery, but everything else. He don't even know what he want to be. You know what I mean? You got a choice. You got a choice now. You say, what choice is that? Well, you want to be a girl? Hell no. What are you talking about? A girl, you could get beat up talking that to a grown Negro. Well, don't you want a choice? Hell no, I don't want no choice. A nigga come out a nigga, that's all he is. A choice. It's ridiculous. They push that. Them people need help. They need help. You need a choice. Yeah. Okay. How about trying to do something good for a change? Yeah. That's a big choice. Any more questions? Any more comments? If not, what time is it? Is that time enough for okay? Well, we could pray now, and then on the way out, we could have whatever we have down there. I think there's turkey, chicken, gravy, rice, all kind of stuff. So enjoy, and there's plenty of it. With this little crew, you can take 2 plates, no 3 plates. Take something home to everybody. Yeah, it's enough. It's more than enough.